Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you've already subscribed to our channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. And when you do, please tap on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. What I really wanted to do today is we're out at my buddy Fred's place. I'm sorry, not Fred. The art department. We are standing in the art department. That's it. We're at the art department's house. And what we're doing is we're going to put this kicker cover, Kickstart assembly, back together. Now, in our last video, what we did was put a gear into the cover. We replaced the gear that was there. And we've learned a few things along the way, so I'm going to try to show those things. Let me get rid of this gasket before I forget that I have it. I think the last time I did one of these Kickstart assemblies, somebody wrote in and said, gasket, because they thought I didn't put one on it. The gasket was so clean and so nice, you couldn't tell I'd already put it on it. But anyway, here is the gasket, being very careful to install it without tearing it. It's a nice thick one. Okay, come on. Cooperate. Now, I don't use any sealant on these generally because, oddly enough, if you look at them, the flange surface is so flat and so clean. You know, those things are generally machined perfectly flat, and the cover is too. So unless I've had a leak there, I just put a new gasket in them and not even worry about it. And they don't leak from there. They leak from the seal on the other side. That's where they leak from. Anyway, so we did that. Now, what I wanted to mention is we replaced this gear in the last video. Now, we could see where this gear was coming apart, where this piece is riveted on. Rivet is missing. There's a big gap in here, which makes perfect sense as to why this gear wasn't engaging properly. Another thing that bothered me is this gear, which was put in this transmission somewhere as a new unit somewhere. This thing has been ground by somebody. And we didn't know why it had been ground. And we looked at it and looked at it and thought about it and thought about it. And decided we're putting a new gear in it anyway. Who cares? What we found in putting in the new gear is that it does not clock the kicker arm properly. In other words, when it's all assembled, instead of being straight up and down, the arm is going part way back. Which tells me, since that happened with the new gear and with the original gear, that this arm, which is a reproduction piece, was not ground properly to begin with. I will look and look until I find another one of these arms for Fred, and we will put it on here first chance. In the meantime, we just want to get this puppy up and running again. So you'll notice I'm using my stomach to hold the kicker arm where it is, and I'm going to put the throwout bearing in place. I hope that was a clear enough explanation of what's wrong there. Okay, so I'm going to put that throwout bearing in place, and now I'm going to try to get the clutch push rod in place. Okay, I think we got it about started. Yeah, that throwout bearing feels good in my finger. Okay, we'll get a couple or three of these on here, and then we'll be in pretty good shape, I think. Let's get about 3 of them on there. There it is. There it is. Now what I'll do, it's the way I normally do these, is I'll get these nuts snugged up here to make sure I can get the rest of this reassembled before I go any further. And here we go. A couple other little tricks I'd like to show while we're at it. Okay, there's 3 of them on there. That's pretty good. 1, 2, and 3. And we'll see if this is working well. Yes, it's working well. Okay. But you see where it's clear back here, it should be straight up and down. If we move it 1 space on the kicker shaft, that's going to move it a full 90 degrees, which is a 1/4 of this, which would move it clear up to here. So we're just kind of sunk until we find another arm to correct that. Okay, so what I wanted to show next was different things we've done along the way to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Now, for the throw-out arm, we had to do some spacing there to raise that arm so that it works well on the other side. Now, let me reach over here. Excuse me, friend. Now, I got to be able to see where it needs to be. Oh, I know what's wrong here. We got it. It's on. Okay, now, if we had the right wrench, which if I remember correctly, it's about a 7/8. I don't feel like going to look for one, so I'm going to use this right here. All that's going to do is just set this thing in place. Now, what I wanted to mention was these 2 washers that are in here. And what those washers are for, you know, every motorcycle is a little bit different. It would be nice if they were all uniform and perfectly matched and everything fit together. But you know, things weren't made by computers in the old days. They were made by people. And so to get these things to all work right, we have to do a little bit of fudging here and there. And this is just great. This is fine. And as soon as I get this down to as tight as I want it, then I can make sure everything else fits and continue. Okay, there it is. Now, what I was showing was these 2 washers here that I used to raise this arm. Now, I think there's a lot of people out there that have put these things together a lot and are often wondering what to do to get this arm, this clutch arm, to go forward and not get hung up on the transmission cover. Sometimes they're just too low and they have to be raised. And I've done this on so many bikes, it's ridiculous. I get the proper size flat washer, which of course won't go over that square shaft. Then I take a square file and I put corners in it. It makes a perfect washer and it goes on there and does that. Okay, so I will do a little bit more final fitting here. But that's it. It is on now. It's all hooked up. I think we're even hooked up on the other side. Yeah, we can hook up the arm here, or the the rod to the arm. Okay, I get it. We'll have to take it loose and put it on there. But that's all ready to go and done. And the whole thing is back together. I'm going to replace that kicker arm for Fred as soon as I find another nice one. And we'll be done. But other than that, that was it. That's the best way I know of to put that kicker cover on, is with the clutch rod going into it, into the throwout bearing. Pushing it on is one thing, realizing you have to have this moved far enough to clear going in there. I also wanted to mention, of course, anyone who's interested in t-shirts, go to pacificmike.com, and when you get that screen comes up, go up to the upper right hand corner, it says t-shirt shop, click on that, and that's where our t-shirts are. I don't have them on display here today because we're in the art department. Where they were made, why would we, anyway, where they were designed. Okay, the next thing is, this coming weekend is the Hippie Killer Hoedown in Temecula, California. You can look it up on the internet. It's Hippie Killer Hoedown 2023. Hippie Killer Hoedown 2023 in Temecula, California. That'll be the 22nd, which is coming Saturday. So other than that, I think that about handles it. Is there anything you needed from the art department here? Okay, then I think we've about done it. And until next time, gee, maybe even I'll see you at Hippie Killer Hoedown. And hopefully on the way, that way I can say, I'll see you out on the road.